Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 4 of the Road to the Million podcast. I'm your host, Ray, and if you stick with me until the end, I will turn you into a millionaire. So welcome back. Today we're going to talk about friends. Friends, it's such an important subject, such an important topic, and I could talk about this for days. You know, a lot of you have phenomenal potential. A lot of you are simply surrounded by the wrong people. Okay, I know you're here, you're listening to me right now. You're like, yeah, Ray, I can probably relate. Because let me give you a little secret about being successful. You know, as I grew older, I realized that everything in life is really about energy. Everything in life is really about attention, where basically you put and challenge your energy and where you channel your attention. So, you know, growing up, we all had friends from high school, from friends from college, from university. And, sometimes I used to ask myself, like, why do I like to be friends with these people? Right? Like, what's the psychology behind friendship? What makes someone a good friend of yours? Right? Is it because we share things in common? Is it because that person makes us feel better about ourselves? Right? So what really triggers that need to want to be with these people that we call friends? And it's a very interesting discussion, because most of us, we pick our friends the wrong way. Right? Not everything in life is about how you feel. Sometimes maybe that one person makes you feel good, but maybe they're bad for you. And oftentimes what actually happens is you have a lot of people in your life that make you feel bad about yourself, but not in a negative way. Maybe because they kind of make you realize things about yourself that you probably need to work on, right? That type of friend. Maybe because you have a friend that maybe is doing better than you, and instead of being inspired, you're maybe, feel a little, inferior. You don't like that. So how you surround yourself is going to play a massive role in you making your first million. Okay, if you're surrounded by the right people, I promise you it's a cheat code. It's so much easier to make millions of dollars if you're surrounded with the right people. The problem with a lot of you is because you have a lot of interruptions and distractions, and you have a lot of contacts with different types of people. Let me give you an example, right? I remember when I was starting out around 21, 22 years old, I used to travel all over the United States. I used to go to the US multiple times a year to business conferences all by myself. So I literally, buy a plane ticket, go to New York City, I would go to Las Vegas, I would go to LA, I would go to Miami, I would go everywhere around, the US. And the reason why is because I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I had different, events I needed to attend, business conferences, marketing conferences. I was building my first business. So I would travel, to all these events by myself, and then I would meet people there, right? I would meet people that would really put me outside of my comfort zone. So what would happen is I would just travel by myself. People would think I'm crazy, like, Ray, why are you going there by yourself? You don't want to go with like a group of friends. I'm like, no, I don't want to go with friends. I just go by myself. So I would go to these events, spend time with people that were like 100 times better than me, 1,000 times more advanced than me. And I would just kind of sit there like a sponge and really just like absorb this information and try to learn and grow from these people. Right? So friendship is a really, really interesting topic, because if most of you are actually honest with yourselves, like if you look at the people around you, and like I said, life is energy, right? So if you're just like spending time with people that just make you feel good all the time, that's a big mistake. Like you have to spend time with people who make you feel like shit. Like literally. Like when you spend time with them, you literally feel small. You feel like you're useless. You feel like, man, how is that person like so much better than me? Like how do they just accomplish so much more than me? And when you spend time with people like that, it's going to, if you have the right mindset, right? If you have the right mindset, it's going to challenge you to think different. It's going to challenge you to push your own boundaries, to, question all your beliefs, to question how you view things and how you've used to do things for the last maybe 5, 10, or 15 years of your life, right? So that's why, friendships and, the people you spend time with and your environment, it's such a key, element for me, because it really played a big role in my success, building my first successful business. If you could just literally cut off a few people in your life and literally just focus, on your business and have fewer people in your life, honestly, I think, in my opinion, it's a cheat code. I think the less people you have in your life, the easier it is for you to focus. There's less drama. Imagine you have like a bunch of friends, like everybody. Everybody knows you. You're always gonna get a phone call every single day for like a different friend. Hey, bro, how you doing? What are you up to tonight? Oh, something happened with that guy. Something happened with that girl. There's always something. Like the distractions are just like all over the place. When I notice like very successful people, they're very good at channeling their time and attention, on one thing at a time, right? They have like a simple life. There was this guy on YouTube. What's his name again? This guy, this YouTuber. I think his name is Alex Becker. Yeah, I remember Alex Becker. Very successful guy. I used to watch his videos, and I remember like he moved out. He moved in like an empty apartment with like a minimalistic life. And the reason why he would do this is because he wants to minimize the decision making that he does every single day when he wakes up, so he can focus on building a successful business. This is a trend that I see in a lot of successful people. They have a very limited and simple life. Now let's take the opposite, right? Unsuccessful people. Most unsuccessful people, they have like a lot of things in their life. Like it's kind of like a mess, right? They wake up in the morning. They have like communications from different people. They have to get back to this guy and this girl and this guy and this one invited them to a party. And they have to make all these decisions every single day, which makes your life harder. Trust me. I know it sounds weird, but like if nobody ever texted you, like it's so much easier to just focus on your thing, right? And I don't want you to take it necessarily to the extreme where like you just disappear from the planet and you don't talk to anybody. But the point I'm trying to make is the more simple your life is, the easier it's going to be for you to focus on that one project that you want to build and make your first million with. All right? So you're better off having maybe like one or two friends that support you, that you channel your energy, at, or maybe you have a girlfriend, maybe you have a boyfriend, and maybe that's enough, right? Honestly, like building my first business, I remember back in the days, I had my girlfriend back then, and we would literally just spend time together almost every day. I was spending either time with my girlfriend, and we were probably working something related to business together, or I had like maybe one or two of my people in my company that worked for me. I spent time with them as well, and I had maybe like one or two extra external friends. That was literally my life from like 21, 22 years old to, today my life is pretty similar. Like I always have a few people in my life. Now, I know a lot of people. Okay, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of contacts. I have contacts in different fields. I know a lot of people. But the people really close to me that are in contact with me, let's say on a daily basis or like a weekly basis, is very, very small. And that allows me, it's actually my cheat code. It allows me to just focus on my things. I can get things done. I have one of my clients, multiple of my clients actually, friends of mine, I see their phone all the time. And their phone is like ringing nonstop. I'm like, bro, how can you focus in your life? Like literally just teach, like I don't understand. Like he has his phone and it's literally ringing every 5 minutes. I'm like, bro, how can you focus on growing on your business? And that friend always complains to me like, Ray, man, I'm overwhelmed, man. Like I have all these things. Like, bro, of course you're overwhelmed. Like you're trying to get something done and every 5 minutes you get a phone call. How is that even possible? Right? Text messages, WhatsApps. Bro, it's impossible to focus. Focus is the name of the game. If you can just have deep focus for, long periods of time working on your project, you're going to make it. I promise you. You're going to figure out all the answers. All right? You know what? One misconception people have in business is they believe that business is extremely difficult. It's not the easiest thing, but it's not very, very difficult. Okay? Like if you actually sit your ass on a chair for a long enough period of time with no interruptions, with no distractions, and you just work on your business, on trying to fix a problem in an industry, and you just put enough time, you channel enough energy in that direction, eventually you will find all the answers and you will make the money that you want. That's what happened for me, and that's what happened to all the successful people, right? We just channel our time and energy in the right direction. So obviously you're going to have to learn to say no. I know this is a challenge a lot of people struggle with. I used to struggle with this when I first started when I was younger. Now I have absolutely no problem saying no. People who know me, they know for a fact. I have absolutely no problem saying no. Like I'm so direct. Like I can have a friend text me, be like, "Hey Ray, I'm doing a party. You want to come?" I'll be like, "Nah, man. That's it. No, like no explanation. Nah, man. Not tonight. That's it. I don't feel bad. I'm like, and these friends know me and they respect my hustle and they respect my drive. They know I'm a busy guy, and they often be like, "All right, bro, no problem. I'll see you next time." That's it. Most of you feel like you have to call the person, and then you have to explain yourselves for like hours on the phone, and you feel bad for a week and a half, right? If you go with that strategy, you're gonna struggle a lot. All right, you're gonna have to learn to say no. And when people ask me like, how do you say no that easily? Like how don't you feel bad? Maybe like hurting someone's feelings, or like maybe how are you so comfortable saying no? And I just tell people, listen, I just put my dreams first. And I know this person's not going to disappear. Like I would rather work on myself right now and just, invest in my dreams. And later I can maybe, help that person again, right? Like my goals have to come first. I have to save myself first in order to help other people around me. So you need to take that sacrifice on the short term in order to do whatever you want in the long term, right? Not a lot of people are willing to do that. So let me talk again about friends because I like that subject a lot, okay? So here's how you know that you have a good friend around you. This is a test. Anybody here can do that test with any friend you have. A good friend is gonna wait on you and accept the fact that you see them less on the short term to see them longer, more often on the long term. So for example, when a friend invites you out, and you politely decline because you have to work on something, they accept that, they respect that, and they don't act bitter towards you. Okay, if you have a friend and you text, they invite you, and then you politely decline, and then they make you feel bad about it, that's not a good friend. Okay, they're just using you because they want you, maybe for their own benefits. So this is something you're gonna have to, identify over time. So just to clarify, okay, to summarize a little bit what I talked about today. If you want to make your first million, it is very important that you try to keep a small circle of people, like as little as possible. Okay, ideally, if you had 0 people in your life, that would be the easiest scenario. Now, we're all human. We all need some human interactions. Okay, we're not robots. Not yet. So ideally, you would have 0, but since this is not realistic, I would say between 1 to 3 people. Okay, and if you have a significant other, this could actually be like a double-edged sword. Now, if this is the right person for you, if that person supports you, if that like I remember when I was building my first business, I had my girlfriend back in the days, and we were like just building together. Like that's all I was doing. I would wake up, she would wake up, we would come to my office, we would literally spend the day together working on the business, on my business, and eventually she started her own business. I helped her do that as well. So everything was kind of like hustle. We were like literally just building goals and dreams. That's what you want. Because if you have a strong, significant other, and, let's say I channel my energy towards her and she channels her energy towards me, it's like a mutual exchange and we just kind of keep fueling each other. We don't need anybody else, by the way. Like if you have a strong, significant other and you're happy with that, you don't even need friends. I'm serious. Like just build your goals and dreams together. Okay, maybe once in a while you go connect with people just to, don't go crazy, right? But you get the point. Like you don't need to have that many friends. So in an ideal scenario, if you have a significant other and if that person is on the same page as you, you should build with that person. That's it. You don't need anyone else. It's you and her, it's her and you, and that's it. You might have 1 or 2 friends that are close that you see once in a while that support you, that are on the same journey as you, okay? Here's the biggest mistake everybody does. Imagine you had a mentor. Imagine I was your mentor because I mentor about 10 to 12 people per year. So let's say you were one of my mentees and let's say you spent a day with me, which my mentees get to do. So what can happen is you spend a day with me and then you're like super motivated, right? Like you're super pumped. You get to learn from my teachings. I teach you a lot of things. I show you way of thinking that are different. So you're kind of immersed in my mentorship, right? Now, here's the problem. Once you get out of my office and you get back into the real world, now you're being infected by all these other mindsets from all these random people you talk to. Do you get it? So everything I did with you, I built you up for success, and then you go back into the poisonous world, because it is an infected word, by the way. Like, the average person is broke. The average person has no idea how to make money. The average person has extremely bad habits. They have bad advice. This is the average person, okay? And I'm not saying that to be negative or bash the average person. I'm just talking statistically speaking. If you look at the numbers, right? The average person does not make a lot of money. The average person makes a lot of mistakes. The average person does not make a lot of good decisions. So if you're out there in the wild and you're being infected by all these other people's thoughts and processes, and like, oh, I'll give you advice about business. Oh, I'll give you relationship advice. Like, you're getting lost, right? So the cheat code is to isolate. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you have a significant other, if you have a mentor, if you have one or two people in your life, you only spend time with these people. I know it's hard. I know a lot of you are going to listen to these like, yeah, Ray, like, I have like a lot of friends. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I want to go to my hockey night. I want to go to my, social club. I understand, but just understand that it's going to affect your mental mindset. It's going to affect the way you make decisions, because every single time you talk with a different human being, you have challenging beliefs, right? You have your own way of thinking, and that other person has their own way of thinking. Now you're challenging, you're having a conversation, right? While you have that conversation, everybody's re-questioning their beliefs all the time, right? Let's say you talk with someone and you're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to wake up at 5 a.m. and I like that morning routine. Oh, really? Okay, now you want to try it, right? Why? Because that person is influencing you a little bit. Now you go talk to someone else like, yeah, honestly, man, I tried that 5 a.m. thing. It's bullshit. Now I wake up at 9 and I'm super happy. Now you want to try the 9 a.m. thing, right? See where I'm going with this? Like, the more people you talk to, the more confused you become. So that's why it's difficult for people to make their first million, is because they keep listening to all these random people. So if you could just literally just focus, okay? Focus. Shut down the freaking world. Shut down everything and listen to one person long enough and just do what that person tells you. You will be successful. I guarantee you that. That's why people who shadow a mentor for years, they all become millionaires, okay? If you spend time around the right people long enough and you shut down the rest of the world, you will adopt this person's belief system. You will adopt this person's work ethic. And if that person is a multimillionaire, well, guess what? You'll be the next one, because you're learning from a successful, proven person who've made it. So that's why the world is complicated, man. It's complicated out there. It's hard. But it's hard, but it's simple, right? Like, if you actually take the time to figure out that stuff and you're like, you know what? I'm going to actually try to isolate. I'm going to actually try to like just reduce the amount of people I listen to, because you get influenced. We hate to admit it as human beings. We hate to say it, but we are influenced by everything around us. Environment is more influential than your willpower. I'll say that again. The environment around you has more effect on you than you think, especially more than your own willpower. I don't care how much willpower you have. If I put you into a room full of chocolate and candy and sugar, and I tell you never touch one of any of these, eventually you're going to touch one of them. Why? Because the environment is not to your advantage. But if I put you into a room where there's no food at all, you won't eat, right? Like, environment is just a cheat code. So you're going to need to learn to curate your own environment. Because if you do, you will be so much more ahead than you think, man. Just trust me on this. I isolated from like the ages of like 21. I still consider myself as someone who isolates from the world. Like, I don't get seen outside of like my office or my place very often. Like, it's very, very rare. Maybe I have like a close friend's birthday once a year. I'll go. Okay, I'm still a human being, by the way. I don't want to sound like a terrible person, where like I just don't care about like childhood friends and things like that. I still, call them. I still check on them. It's just once in a while. I just cannot afford to see them every day, obviously, because I'm working on my dreams. But, if there's a birthday party once a year and it's a good friend of mine since, high school or whatever, I will go. I'll show up to that birthday, right? But it's just like, yearly events once in 6 months, once in a while. That's totally fine. But the problem with the average person is that they just go see these people every day, every week, and they wonder why, like, they're confused. They wonder why they never get their answers. So that was my little rant for today, guys. I hope you're gonna remember what I'm saying. I hope you're gonna take it seriously, because that is what changed my life. I had to, isolate. I had to live a simple life, to cut all the noise, right? To shut down the world. So my advice to you is, if you can find your significant other, or if you already have your significant other and they're on the same page as you, or you can try to convince them to be on the same page as you, it's you and that person against the world. You don't need anybody else. If you have a very, very good friend of you that is also like-minded, that likes to do business with you, that's fine. Maybe it's going to be you and that friend against the world. Who cares? You just need a very, very, very small group of people that are going at the same place as you. And then you're going to guarantee your success. And that's why, by the way, I started my mentorship community. Like, when people ask me, Ray, why did you start the RTTM Mastermind? This is my group, by the way, where I have like 10 to 12 people that meet with me in person every single week. We spend about half a day together. So the reason why I created that group is because I'm trying to create a group of people who actually want to isolate from the world. A group of people who actually want to make it. So step by step, we kind of reinforce our beliefs together, and we protect our beliefs together against the world, against the poison, that you find everywhere, out there. So that's the problem with the internet, guys. So that's why I created my mastermind group. Right now, the applications are closed, by the way. I open it once a year. So it's usually in January. So if you ever want to learn more information about it, you can just follow me on Instagram. I post about it like once a year. So don't miss out. It's a very, very small group of people. I let maybe 2 or 3 people in every single year. It's very exclusive. And the reason why is because I want to keep it small so I can actually get to know every single member personally. If you still want to talk with me and learn from me, by the way, I have my Patreon community. You get to chat with me. I have like a private group chat. I also do exclusive content videos. If that speaks to you, you can just click the link somewhere here on the video or like in the bio, and you'll get redirected to Patreon. You can subscribe. It's only $49 a month, and you get to chat with me one-on-one and ask me all your questions. All right, so that was the clip for today, guys. I hope you're gonna remember everything I said. Okay, I'm being super honest with all of you. If you listen to my advice and you actually implement it, your life will change forever. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, this is not something I read online. This is what helped me build my first successful business, and it can help you do the same. All right? So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.